I can't work my computer. There we go. Hello. Good morning. Look at you, Mary, being on time for once. It's Sleepy Boy. He's on the couch this morning. He heard me talking that he has to go get blood work today, and he's a little stressed out by it. So, I gotta check his thyroid to make sure he's still okay post his surgeries. Yes, last year. Oh, good, Lois. Some of these word ones, I see a lot of words in here. And some of the ones with lots of words become hard reads. So, all right, let's go ahead. March 27th, the towns Judah inherited. Joshua 15:20 through 63. The towns of Judah situated along the borders of Edom. Whoops, I missed the first sentence. This was the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Judah. The towns of Judah situated along the borders of Edom in the extreme south were Kabzeel, Eder, Jagur, Kinna, Dimona, Adada, Kadesh, Hazor, Ithnan, Ziph, Telem, Bealoth, Hazor, Hadada, Kiriath, Hezron, that is Hazor, Ammon, Shema, Molada, Hazor Gada, Hashmon, Beth Pelet, Hazor Shual, Beersheba, Biziothea, Bela, Eam, Ezem, Tolad, Kessel, Horma, Ziklag, Medmana, Sansana, Labaeth, Shilhem, Ain, and Rimmon. 29 towns with their surrounding villages. The following towns were situated in the western foothills, were also given to Judah: Eshtaol, Zorah, Ashna, Zanoah, En-Ganim, Tapua, Enam, Jarmuth, Adullam, Soka, Azekah, Sharaim, Adithaim, Gedera, and Gederothaim. 14 towns with their surrounding villages. Also included were Zenan, Hadasha, Migdal Gad, Delian, Mizpah, Joktheel, Lachish, Bozkath, Eglon, Cabin, Lamam, Kitlish, Gederoth, Beth Dagon, Nama, and Makkedah. 60 towns with their surrounding villages. Woo! Besides these, there were Libnah, Ether, Ashan, Ifta, Ashna, Nezib, Kala, Akzib, and Marishah. 9 towns with their surrounding villages. The territory of the tribe of Judah also included Ekron and its surrounding settlements and villages. From Ekron to the boundary extended west and included the towns near Ashdod with their surrounding villages. It also included Ashdod with its surrounding settlements and villages, and Gaza with its settlements and villages, as far as the brook of Egypt and along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. Judah also received the following towns in the hill country: Shemer, Jater, Soko, Dana, Kiriath Sana, which is Deber, and Anab, Eshtemo, Anim, Goshen, Holon, and Gilo. 11 towns with their surrounding villages. Also included were the towns of Arab, Duma, Eshen, Janam, Beth Tapua, Afika, Humta, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, and Zior. 9 towns with their surrounding villages. Besides these, there were Maon, Carmel, Ziph, Judah, Jezreel, Jokdeam, Zanoah, Cain, Gibeah, and Timnah, 10 towns with their surrounding villages. In addition, there were Halhul, Beth Zor, Gedor, Mara, Bethanoth, and Eltikon, 6 towns with their surrounding villages. There were also Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 towns with their surrounding villages. In the wilderness, there were 2 towns of Beth Araba, Midden, Sakaka. Oh, I like that one. Sakaka. Nibshan, and the city of Salt, and En-Gedi, 6 towns with their surrounding villages. But the tribe of Judah could not drive out the Jebusites who lived in the city of Jerusalem, so the Jebusites lived there among the people of Judah to this day. The inheritance of Ephraim and West Manasseh, Joshua 16:1 through 3. The allotment for the descendants of Joseph extended from the Jordan River near Jericho, east of the springs of Jericho, through the wilderness and into the hill country of Bethel. From Bethel, that is Luz, it ran over to Adaroth in the territory of the Archites. Then it descended westward to the territory of the Japhletites as far as Lower Beth Horon, then to Gezer over to the Mediterranean Sea. The land given to Ephraim, Joshua 16, 4 through 10. Sorry, the town of Gezer made me laugh. My daughter calls her grandfather Grand Gezer. Sorry. The land given to Ephraim, Joshua 16, 4 through 10. This is the homeland allocated to the families of Joseph's sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. The following territory was given to the clans of the tribe of Ephraim. The boundary of their homeland began at Adaroth Ader in the east. From there, it ran up to Upper Beth Horon, then on to the Mediterranean Sea. From Mikmethath, that's a lot of the Mikmethath, on the north to the boundary curved eastward past Tanath Shiloh to the east of Genoa. From Genoa, it turned southward to Adaroth and Nara, touched Jericho, and ended at the Jordan River. From Tappuah to the boundary extended westward, following the Kana Ravine to the Mediterranean Sea. This is the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribes of Ephraim. In addition, some towns with their surrounding villages in the territory allocated to the half-tribe of Manasseh were set aside for the tribe of Ephraim. They did not drive the Canaanites out of Gezer, however, so the people of Gezer live as slaves among the people of Ephraim to this day. The land given to West Manasseh, Joshua 17, 1 through 18. The next allotment of land was given to the half-tribe of Manasseh, the descendants of Joseph's older son. Machir, the firstborn son of Manasseh, was the father of Gilead. Because his descendants were experienced soldiers, the regions of Gilead and Bashan on the east side of the Jordan had already been given to them. So the allotment on the west side of the Jordan was for the remaining families within the clans of the tribe of Manasseh: Abiezer, Helek, Azrael, Shechem, Hepher, and Shemitah. These clans represent the male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph. However, Zelophehad, a descendant of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, had no sons. He had only daughters, whose names were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These women came to Eleazar, the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the Israelite leaders, and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us a grant of land along with the men of our tribe." So Joshua gave them a grant of land along with their uncles, as the Lord had commanded. As a result, Manasseh's total allocation came to 10 parcels of land, in addition to the land of Gilead and Bashan across the Jordan River. Because the female descendants of Manasseh had received a grant of land along with the male descendants, the land of Gilead was given to the rest of the male descendants of Manasseh. The boundary of the tribe of Manasseh extended from the border of Asher to Mikmethath near Shechem. The boundary went south from Mikmethath to the settlement near the spring of Tappuah. The land surrounding Tappuah belonged to Manasseh, but the town of Tappuah itself, on the border of Manasseh's territory, belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. From the spring of Tappuah, the boundary of Manasseh followed the Canaan ravine to the Mediterranean Sea. Several towns south of the ravine were inside Manasseh's territory, but they actually belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. In general, however, the land south of the ravine belonged to Ephraim, and the land north of the ravine belonged to Manasseh. Manasseh's boundary ran along the northern side of the ravine and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. North of Manasseh was the territory of Asher, and to the east was the territory of Issachar. The following towns within the territory of Issachar and Asher, however, were given to Manasseh: Beth Shan, Ibleam, Dor, that is Naphoth Dor, Endor, Tanakh, and Megiddo, each with their surrounding settlements. But the descendants of Manasseh were unable to occupy these towns because the Canaanites were determined to stay in that region. Later, however, when the Israelites became strong enough, they forced the Canaanites to work as slaves, but they did not drive them out of the land. The descendants of Joseph came to Joshua and asked, "Why have you given us only one portion of our land as a homeland when the Lord has blessed us with so many people?" Joshua said, "If there are so many of you, and if the hill country of Ephraim is not large enough for you, clear out land for yourselves in the forest where the Perizzites and Rephaites live." The descendants of Joseph responded, "It's true that the hill country is not large enough for us, but the Canaanites in the lowlands have iron chariots, both those in Bethshan and in surrounding settlements, and those in the valley of Jezreel. They are too strong for us. Then Joshua said to the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh, the descendants of Joseph, since you are so large and strong, you will be given more than one portion. The forest of the hill country will be yours as well. Clear as much of the land as you wish and take possession of its farthest corners, and you will drive out the Canaanites from the valleys too, even though they are strong and have iron chariots. Did you see me fling that fingernail off mid-sentence? Did you see that go flying? Oh, there it is. Found it. It's right here. Every time I read all of these names of towns, I wonder if the people like who live in that area and speak the language well would listen to me and just laugh their heads off at how I'm pronouncing these towns. Or if they'd be like, hey, she does okay with that. I don't think they would. I think it would be quite the comedy show, to be honest. All right. We are on page 19 of Shut the Door. When we are doing the will of God, He strengthens and renews us by His presence and power. He assures us that when we walk with Him, His yoke is easy and His burden is light. Matthew 11:30 says, my yoke is wholesome, useful, good, not harsh, hard, sharp, or pressing, but comfortable, gracious, and pleasant. And my burden is light and easy to be borne. That's from the Amplified Version. I confess that I have read this passage in numerous translations, trying to grasp its truth. I read it again and again in one of my seasons of emptiness, wanting it to mean something else. I didn't want to come to terms with the fact that I had built for myself crosses God never intended for me to carry. I had put more on my plate than God had required, sometimes with a little help from others. But because I was doing good, I felt I was walking in obedience, when in truth, I was walking out of step with Him. Some of the things on my agenda were actually taking time away from what I was really supposed to be doing. I could understand why I was often experiencing anything but an easy and light burden. It was only when I came to the realization that I could and should lay down some of the things I felt I was to carry, things that God never intended for me to pick up, that I was set free of the emptiness and weariness that comes from being borrowed away from His purpose in my life. The widow woman didn't go asking to borrow money or food or send her sons to do so. She had no way in sight of paying that back. But she could borrow vessels filled with emptiness. That would prove to be an easy task. After all, no one minds giving away nothing. But God had plans to do something amazing with the emptiness she borrowed and that she felt she already possessed. Her obedience to Elisha's instructions without questioning his command was trust. It was faith in action. And that obedience would soon turn her own nothingness and emptiness, as well as that she had borrowed, into something incredible. Yes, it's likely neighbors were talking among themselves, and some would have questioned them as to why they asked to borrow empty vessels. Some may have scoffed or even mocked them. Don't you have something more productive you can do? Don't you realize the serious situation you're in? Fear could have taken hold and stopped them from their assignment as they pondered the facts facing them. If they had listened to the naysayers, that they may have questioned their actions, they likely would have stopped short of gathering enough vessels, if any at all. But they were undaunted in their mission to gather empty vessels as Elisha instructed. When they got home, they did as directed by him and shut the door to everyone's opinion and doubt. And their obedience produced a miracle. God would show them that He could take empty vessels and fill them to overflowing because of their obedience and because there was oil in the house. 2 Kings 4:5-7 says, so she went from him and shut the door behind her and her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured it out. Now it came to pass when the vessels were full that she said to her sons, bring me another vessel. And he said to her, there is not another vessel. So the oil ceased. Then she came and told the man of God, and he said, go, sell the oil, pay your debt, and you and your sons can live on the rest. Isn't it wonderful that God is always more than enough? She was able to go and sell the oil to pay her debt, and she and her sons would live on the rest. Okay, I'm going to stop there. All right. Just reading through the chat. I believe it, Mary. Bassie is over $20,000. It's $25,000 through the years. It's more than a year in college. Sebastian Travis York. It's crazy. No, we didn't find another car. We tried out an Accord, but the numbers for purchase right now don't make sense. It's like $700 a month. Even with our really good trade, like no. Mm-mm. They probably would laugh at our city names. Yeah, and our people names too. Yes, Mary, they would be like, "Oh, Mary, we know her." But I'm sure that they would laugh at some of the names we've chosen that are not, or that are tongue or the way we spell them. I saw one the other day that had me in stitches the way it was spelled. What was it? The name was Huntley, but I can't remember how they spelled it now. But it was hilarious. Hilarious. It was like 12 extra letters in these names. I don't know, it's funny. Got to glue on my fingernail, girls. I don't want to look weird with missing fingernail. All right, then. Well, let's go ahead and close in prayer. And then we're going to have breakfast because my dog visit isn't until 11, and I have breakfast in mind that I'm looking forward to enjoying. So hopefully you'll join me. Ooh, I got some glue on my hands. All right, let's go ahead and end in prayer. God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you over and over again. Thank you for your graciousness and the way you love us and the way you look at us as children that are loved and cherished. God, I thank you for each and every person here. I know the struggles are many, the struggles with family members going through sickness, going through dementia and Alzheimer's, and going through diagnoses of cancers and just different illnesses and worries and fears and sickness and all products of this fallen world. But you are God above it all. And we can take hope in that. We can take hope in our future, and that you have a plan to prosper us and not to harm us. And whether that includes illness and sickness along the way, God, I know that you are there to strengthen and give us hope despite the fallen world that we live in. God, I thank you for each and every person that joins this devotions and for their consistency here to join these devotions and be part of this. And I pray that it is honoring to you. And thank you that it blesses us. And thank you that we can do this together. God, I pray that our choices today will be honoring to you, that they will heal our bodies and not harm them, to bring us strength and create a vessel that is honoring to you. In your precious and holy name I pray. Amen. All right, my friends. Who be texting me? Oh, it's my daughter. She'd like me to enter the Candy Crush All-Stars competition. You should enter this competition. I may or may not have a Candy Crush problem, although I haven't played it in a few days, so I may have broken the addiction slightly. Probably replaced it with something else like Big Bang Theory or some other stupid thing. All right, you guys. I love you all. Thank you for joining me this morning. Thanks for being part of devotions. And I'm going to make breakfast this morning, and it's going to involve toast. So settle in, ladies, okay? It's going to involve toast. And we all know that that is not KJ's greatest strength, making toast. However, I'm going to make a yummy, crispy toast. No, I did not, Meredith. I did not get I did not get a car. We tried to trade our van in and it was still absolutely outrageous. You know those Honda Odysseys that they're like, "Oh, they retain their value so well. You'll never ever like have negative equity because they're the best things ever. Please buy our overpriced Honda Odyssey and enjoy it." And then when you realize the payment is just more than you want to pay and you tried to trade it in, they're like, "Well, you do have some negative equity. So, you're going to have to pay us a lot of money if you want to get out of that contract." I hate cars. I hate them. I just want to ride a bike. My butt could probably use it anyway. Someone come just buy the Honda Odyssey so I don't have to pay for it anymore. All right, girls, I'm going to go get ready to make some toast. It's going to take no time. I'm getting live in just like 2 minutes because I'm starving. And it's going to be good toast this morning, like good. It's going to be good. So come watch. I'll be live in just a few minutes. I love you all. CJ, I'm so sorry. Marin woke up yesterday with a really sore throat and I thought, oh, great. Does she have COVID? And then I thought maybe she has strep. And I took her to the doctor. She got swabbed, which was a miracle in itself because usually she has to be held down. But now that she's 17, she can actually tolerate it. And I was shocked. And she just sat there like a good girl. She did not do that when she was 11. She had to be like held down to get the swab. But she did not have strep. So I'm anxious to see how she feels this morning. I don't know if it's just allergies or if she is coming down with something. But anywho, I've said 3 times I'm going to go. So yes, horse and buggy. I would be okay with a horse and buggy at this point, as long as somebody else cleaned up the horse poop. Okay. All right. I'll be back shortly for breakfast. I love you, girls.